What is Jump King's favorite dish to have for breakfast? Smoking hot bacon and eggs. Welcome to the stream, my friends. Happy Thursday. And thank you for being here. Sorry I missed you yesterday. I thought I was going to miss tonight. But my leg had other plans. Oh my goodness. Yesterday morning when I got up, I couldn't even get out of my bed without crutches. I couldn't put any weight on my ankle, and I don't even know what I did to it. I must have I don't know. I must have stumbled or twisted it or caught myself weird or something. I knew it was starting to hurt on Tuesday. I knew it was it didn't feel right. It was starting to hurt Tuesday evening. And then when I woke up on Wednesday, it was intolerable. And it didn't get any better. But I'm doing okay now. I can at least move a little bit. So thank you for being here. We've decided to, since I was kind of thinking the Thursday night stuff was going to end up canceled anyway, I decided to do yesterday's stuff tonight. So Jump King and Warlock tonight, my friends. If we somehow beat both games, well, we're not going to beat Jump King. Don't think about that. But if we put in our 2 hours with Jump King and then we somehow beat Warlock really quickly, maybe we'll play a little bit of Splatterhouse too. But I wouldn't hold my breath for it. Let's say hello to everyone, though. Dead Zergling is first in chat, followed very closely tonight by EpiPen. Welcome in Pink Scully. Welcome in Lucent Jelly. Welcome in, and I think that's everybody. If I didn't miss anyone. Welcome in Lurkers as well. Thank you, of course, for being here. I can distract my suffering with yours, Scully says. I'm very happy to be here to provide a distraction. Hopefully, I won't complain too much, and I certainly hope that you are back at your best soon, Scully. And thank you for that. Thank you for the heads up about being muted. I usually start slowly and awkwardly. It usually takes a while before I say anything at the beginning, so. It might seem that I'm muted when I'm really not, as I'm working up enough courage to say whatever joke I have planned for the night. You're not the only one limping around. I don't know what I did either, EpiPen says. I wasn't 100% sure. I wasn't 100% sure if you had actually injured yourself or if you were just making a joke. Because it came as in response to a joke, but I'm certainly hoping that you are. I'm certainly hoping that you are back up and moving around at full strength again soon too. All right, let's play some Jump King. It'd be really lovely if we could get back up to at least get back up to the cats tonight. We're going to play this for about 2 hours. Maybe a little more or less. I'm going to be a bit flexible since I started a bit late. I was having a little bit of trouble. Getting the game capture to come through. It was being disagreeable with me, but everything's fine now. I'm sure it was human error. Zeril, welcome in. Hope you are well, my friend. The bottom of your beanie almost looked like a blindfold. I thought you had lost your mind for a moment there. I've made jokes about that before, about playing Jump King blindfolded. It took me so long. It took me so long to get through some areas on the Noob Babe Plus path that I was beginning to feel certain that I could play the game better blindfolded. I don't know. I know some people do blindfolded challenges for games. Like, I know that, like, Punch-Out and Mario 64 are popular for that. I don't think there's anything that, I don't think that there's anything that I know well enough that I could do. I mean, I know no one does, like, no one does a blindfolded run just from knowing a game well, but, like, is there something that I could learn? And I don't know. I don't know that such a game exists. Maybe, like, it'd have to be something really predictable. Like, I don't know. Has anyone ever done blindfolded Castlevania? Like, that game works pretty predictably. You have to have a good sense of timing, though, because you wouldn't have a lot of, like... The games I like, you wouldn't have a lot of audio cues to tell you where you are. You would have to have just a really good sense of timing. You'd have cues to tell you when you were on the right path, but, like, if you ever messed up, you'd have to restart. After I finish my bath, I'm never getting up again, Scully says. This is the end. Stay strong, Scully. We're I'm wishing for you to be back at your best very soon. My friend played Code Vein blindfolded. That's a Souls-like game. I don't know that one. I imagine that takes a lot of skill, though. Games that people have been playing for decades make sense for blindfolded runs. I'm playing with a different controller tonight. I'm playing with the Pro controller instead of the NES, or instead of the Super NES controller, and it does feel very weird. I don't like it. But my Super NES controller, I forgot to charge it. I think it's you know what? Let me switch. I don't think it has that much battery left, but maybe it has enough to get me through the night. I'm gonna run it down to empty at least. It just feels weird using something else. I need to remember to charge this back up. He's played it a lot. I feel like Minecraft would be hard to speedrun, as the world is randomly generated. It seems to me tough to know a randomly assembled game well enough to be able to do it quickly. But I mean, I don't really speedrun much of anything, so blindfolded run? I imagine a blindfolded run would be impossible. I'm sure, well, Minecraft's super popular, though, so I'm sure someone can do it, but I'm not throwing my hat in the ring. I don't see how Castlevania would work. It probably wouldn't at BPN. I was just throwing it out there. Because it was one of the first games I thought of where the enemies are fairly predictable. But right at the beginning, it would be tough because the zombies on level 1 are random. I wasn't even thinking about them, though. One moment. Thank you, Jelly, for the coffee, and I have some watermelon tonight. That looks very good. The stairs in that, too. You know, naturally, of course, I would want to say, if I was going to put the time into any game, I'd want it to be Super Ghouls and Ghosts, but, I mean... There's quite a bit of randomness in that game. I don't think, I don't think any human is doing a blindfolded run of that one anytime soon. It wouldn't even be fun to watch you fail at. It's a bit too warm. I'm gonna have to lose my beanie tonight. My brain is starting to cook. Definitely need for the stream games that are fun to watch me fail at. And speaking of failing at games, I did fill in tomorrow night on the schedule. We're gonna play Pugsley again tomorrow. I'm gonna make another effort of trying to release us from that game. Having crushed up tortilla chips with homemade guac on top? Eating with a spoon feels like eating cereal, but not the same. Oh, what am I doing? I jumped directly onto a slope. I've had chips and salsa like that before, EpiPen. I don't really like guacamole. Jelly loves it, but I don't know. I just avocados are really not for me. Don't know when I switched, but I'm into them now. Didn't used to be. Yeah, I've tried them. I've tried avocado a couple times, but I just can't find a way to make it palatable. Has been a while though. Maybe if I were brave enough to try it again, maybe I'd feel differently. Cashews switched for me. I hated cashews for a long time, and now I eat them literally every day. Same. Don't know why I didn't like them either. Yeah, it's a fairly recent switch for me too. It was within the past few years. Jelly was away visiting some family, and I was keeping watch at home. And she had bought some cashews to snack on, like shortly before she left. and I just tried them on a whim. And while she was away, I texted her. I said, I have some very bad news for you. I like cashews now. So all of yours are gone. Thank goodness. No. Hey, next, welcome in. I'm playing garbage. I love it. And I'm enjoying it. Fantastic. That sounds like my kind of evening. I really want to put some garbage on the schedule, probably week after next. Next week, by the way, just so everyone knows, I need to say it 100 times so everyone hears. Next week's going to be weird. I'm going to miss a lot of streams next week. Particularly toward the second half. Jelly and I have a lot going on. So, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be here for you a whole lot next week, everybody. But, week after next, I should triumphantly return and everything be back to normal for a good long while. Hey, Defiant Salem, welcome in. Somebody not playing Elden Ring, and it's Frownie. You don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about me playing Elden Ring anytime soon, Salem. Very happy to have you here. Oh. My girlfriend in Korea sliced an avocado like a melon. It was not ripe, on the greener side. She offered it to me. I refused to eat it, but she put a little salt on it and convinced me. I remember it tasted almost like the texture of chocolate. Very buttery, EpiPen says. That was the moment I changed. I've heard that comparison before about avocado, but maybe that's it. Maybe the ones I've tried have been too ripe. Game and Fit, welcome in. Hope your walks have been going better since last we spoke. Every time I see or hear Elden Ring, I die a little on the inside, Game and Fit says. I'm sorry, my friend. I have 2,200 hours approximately. I died a while ago, Salem says. Oh, I've been down here. I started down here, EpiPen. I've been down here a couple nights now. This game is so unforgiving. It is dreadful. It is absolutely dreadful. The main pathway through the game, like the main game, ignoring the DLCs, is comparatively very doable. I mean, it's tough and mean, don't get me wrong, but it's downright, the main game is downright generous compared to the DLCs. Cows, welcome in. Happy Thursday, cows. Cows, one of your emote ideas. You made a suggestion for an emote 1,000 years ago, Cows, and it has finally happened. We have a micro boss emote. We also have another new emote that's extremely similar. I didn't uh I didn't realize that it kind of looks like they're looking back and forth at one another. The I Spy emote was supposed to be a separate idea that was just like you know, like, oh, I see a secret or something like that kind of thing. Like I've uncovered a secret, sort of a celebratory type of emote for when I find something in the game. But then, yeah, the first time I used them next to each other just to show them off, I was like, oh my goodness, they're looking back at each other. Well, I actually have an idea to potentially animate the micro boss emote at some point, but it's super ambitious. I don't know. I might be asking a lot of jelly to try and animate it the way that I've outlined for. I drew a sketch and it's got like 12 or 16 frames of animation. That's a lot. That's a lot for a. That seems like a lot for a one megabyte GIF. No, I walked off the thing. But we have this lovely version for now, at least, which I am quite pleased with. Salem says my main on Elden Ring has 985 hours, 38 minutes, and 17 seconds. That's a chunk of time. That's a chunk of time. EpiPen, if you use that link there in the chat that I just put there, I think that'll clear up some of your confusion. Oh, the schedule. That's a old command. Game and Fit. The schedule to see the command to actually see the schedule is the command week. I need to get rid of that one. I forgot that one even existed. That's so old. I was still pretending that I could go live around 10 p.m. every night. Oh yeah, I should Zergling. I just forgot. I forgot the schedule command existed when I made the week command. That's the only reason it's still there. Is by the time I made the week command, I forgot the schedule one existed. This is the first time I've seen it in probably 2 years. I did it again. That time it wasn't even my fault. That one wasn't even my fault. I remember jumping rope as a kid. I didn't jump rope all that often. I wasn't very good at it. I liked the coordination or the rhythm or whatever it takes to jump rope. I just was not good at it. I never learned to operate a hula hoop either. Oh, I didn't even update the thing. Game and Fit. You're looking at the schedule. There is not going to be any use for you anyway, because it's reflecting a post ankle injury world. We're playing Jump King and Warlock tonight, and we're playing Pugsley tomorrow. Pugsley's scavenger hunt is definitely not how I want to spend my Friday evening, but I really would like to release us from that dreadful game. Awesome. You know, I thought I'd worked something out that I was gonna make that part easier, and I'm really doubting myself. Oh, I'm aware of that EpiPen. Don't share any of the details. I plan to play it, so I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, you've already told me something about it, so please, no more. Fortunately, I already knew that, but still, the principle holds the same. I don't even want to hear stuff like that. You really gotta learn how my brain works. And that no information means literally no information. You're alright, you're alright. I already knew that one, but please, caution, please. Hey, Bel Air Jeff, welcome in. Great to have you here, my friend. Sorry I ran away from you the other night right as you were coming into the chat. It's okay, I was late, but I'm glad to be here now. Always great to have you here, my friend. I just want to go home and play Elden Ring. Apparently all the world seems to be abuzz for Elden Ring at the moment. I'm guessing some new DLC has released. I'll consider playing Elden Ring when it's been out for a while, all the DLC is finished, and the game is finally being released in a remastered, complete version on a Nintendo console that's just barely powerful enough to run it. I'll consider playing it at that point. Uh, 2049 hype. Yeah, run it on a CRT screen too. I'm still debating whether or not I should play Dark Souls 2 on the CRT. I'm still debating it. I don't know if that will be delightfully in character for me, or if it will be endlessly aggravating for everyone else. Oh, Zergling said, I predict given enough time, Frownie will refuse to even hear the names of games or what consoles they're for. I should, I should have Jelly take a steel wool pad and scratch all the labels off of all my cartridges, and then I should just play through whatever I grab off the shelf at random from now on. You sound like a true collector. Ruined cartridges, blasphemy. I don't buy... See, the thing is, I consider myself the last user of every game I own. Like, I build my collection. I don't build my collection. There's nothing in it that I intend to speculate on. There's nothing in it that I really intend to ever sell. So, the condition of the games matters very little to me. As long as the game functions, that is really all that matters. Like, I will happily buy the most battered and disfigured copy of a game that I can come across if it means I can save a couple bucks. Because as long as the game functions, as long as it runs when I put it into the machine, it's all I care about. Sometimes, I'll pay a little extra if I can get a copy with a manual sometimes. The manual's not a big deal since you can get most of them as PDFs off the internet nowadays. I like to have the physical manual. I'll pay a little bit more for it, but it's not super important. And the box Get out of here. The box is just wasting space in my room. I could care less about a box. It's nice when a game is a disc, but even then, like, I've got some high quality protective sleeves. They'll be fine. I dare you to do it even once to scrape the label off of a thing. Yeah, I don't intentionally damage any of my games either, I will say. So you've got me. I'm gonna fail your dare. But I don't like the idea of intentionally damaging anything that I own. So you won't, like, you know, when I'm playing a game and I'm miserable, you won't hear me spout a lot of rhetoric about how I want to destroy the game or I'm going to burn the cartridge or something like that, because I really don't like the idea of destroying retro games. But I'm really not precious about the condition of items I will enter into my collection. There we go. Put everything on EverDrives and have Jelly randomly name the rename the files. That's something we could do. That's something we could do to fill an EverDrive with untitled games, or like mistitled, or just like give everyone a randomly generated serial number for a title. That's doable. And then just commit to playing whatever I commit to beating whatever I land on. I can think of worse ideas. Frownie Jr. is going to be indoctrinated with Frownie's crazy spoiler policy from birth. He'll see it as a bonus. Dad, why don't I go to school like the other kids? That building's just a temple to backseating and spoilers, son. Stay away. Skibbity Toilet Man, welcome in. Thank you for joining us. Hello from Ohio, the land of enchantment. Hello from Wisconsin. The land of a guy who's not creative enough to quickly give it a cute nickname. I thought you would have gone with cheese. Well, I was trying to avoid the obvious. Instead, I went with the much more clever nothing. Oh. I never want to destroy a game, Lord Malachite says. I'd prefer to punish the people responsible for it. I mean, if you think about it from a particular perspective, just preserving the game is punishing the people responsible for it, right? If you were to destroy it, you would be concealing the evidence of their misdeeds. When you preserve it, their shame lives forever. Four times, Zerglig says. Then he will renounce Frownie's ways and want all the spoilers ever, all the time. That is that is the nature. That is the nature of parents and children, is it not? I was fixing to send you Home Improvement. Also, since you consider reading the manual a spoiler. I have a gonna be some kind of rebel face. I have a huge respect for manuals, and I always encourage people to read them. And if you are playing a game and you miss a piece of information that makes the game worse for you because you didn't read the manual, I consider that 100% your fault. I talk a big talk about the manual. I'm a big believer in the manual for other people. I don't want anything to do with the manual. Woohoo! We made it back up here. That's great. I don't want anything to do with the manual, but I don't think I'm an example. I'm not an example. I'm a warning. Thank you for the hydrate, Scully. I will choose to hydrate and avoid to dehydrate. Oh no! I'm not only gonna look at manuals, I'm gonna write them too. I have no son. Remember, kids, when all else fails, go and get the instructions out of the garbage. Just think, if Frownie had read the manual on how to use his legs, he wouldn't have a terrible ankle injury. Even in the at the height of my despair and rage at Echo the Dolphin, I don't believe that I ever contemplated destroying my copy of the game. I did I did consider I did consider locking it in a box and wrapping it in chains and sinking it in the cement foundation of a building, like the board game from Jumanji, which is technically not destroying it. It's it's saving the curse for someone else. I wonder if I've spent more time in this playthrough above or below the cat tower. And that is including the cat tower in the category of above the cat tower. Like, all the time spent here in the building counts as above. I wonder if we count it that way. I wonder if I've spent more time above or below. Because I have fallen back down below the cat tower a lot of times, but I've fallen inside the cat tower a whole lot of times too. What are we up to now? 72.5 hours. I've got exactly 20 hours left. I've got exactly 20 hours left to make this not my worst playthrough. You think I've spent more time above? I think it's possible. I think it's possible. It did take me quite a while to reach it for the first time, but what am I doing? That jump is free and I missed it. Repaired a guitar while you're in the cat tower. I learned how to reprogram something in Linux. I figured out how to write 3 very complicated scripts for work, all above the cat tower. There's nothing to inspire productivity like an endless chorus of meowing. I'm working on a project now, and it really triggers me to be focused. Master Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to you, my friend. Thank you for joining us. We made it back to the checkpoint in Jump King. It only took the first hour tonight, too, so we've got a lot of time. We've got a lot of time to try and hit a new PB. I don't feel like an hour is a lot of time in many other games. But in Jump King, an hour is just way too much. Oh, I did it again. I undershot the jump, but I got lucky that it didn't. I didn't get punished for it. I don't know what is wrong with me. You've gotten really good at this. Thank you, Jeff. 72 hours is not a insignificant chunk of time to practice. And that's only on this map. Like, I'm not including, like, the 72 hours doesn't include our time on the other maps. This is threatening to be longer than my Dark Souls playthrough. Jump King is already the third longest playthrough on the stream. But it's about to become number 2. Number 1 is Tears of the Kingdom, number 2 is Dark Souls, and number 3 is Jump King. I do believe, for length of playthroughs. If you count all of this as the same playthrough, because we did hit credits a long time ago. So if you say the count has to stop at the first time you see credits, which is a good thing to, like, there's a good argument to be made. If you do that, then Battletoads is 3rd place. And Jump King is 4th. I wouldn't even have a way of, like, calculating, like, extracurricular time spent with games, like time I sink into challenge runs and stuff like that. That stuff spirals out of control real quick. What are your final thoughts on Tears of the Kingdom? I loved Tears of the Kingdom. I thought it was great. I had tons of fun with it. I like all the stuff that they added to it, with the crafting and power-ups. I have very few complaints about Tears of the Kingdom, if any at all. I had a great time with it. I was a big fan of Breath of the Wild, though. Like, I wouldn't really complain about anything in Breath of the Wild either. Like, I know a lot of people, like, wanted more story and stuff in Breath of the Wild. I guess, like, I would complain that, because the way, like, the dungeons were handled, and a lot of the, like, dungeon content being outsourced to shrines, like, did make the dungeons, like, underwhelming and samey. But I don't know, I still really liked it. And I know a lot of people wanted more story in Breath of the Wild, but, you know, I didn't. I got plenty of story. I'm fine with it all being, like, vague and more suggestion than spelled out. The last thing I want, like, when I'm having a great time exploring a world and fighting monsters and finding secrets, the last thing in the world I want is someone to come into the room, take the controller away from me, and make me watch a movie. That's horrible. That's horrible. Demon King? Secret Stone? I hope the dungeons are more meaty in the next 3D Zelda. Yeah, the dungeons could always stand to be, the dungeons could always stand to be a little bit more, beefed up. It's hard, though, because, like, with open world, like, you want the dungeons to be completable in any order. So whatever item you find inside of a dungeon has to be kind of useless. Still have 2 bosses left in Tears. I went crazy on side in Breath of the Wild. I'm crazy on side quests. That's the way I played Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, I didn't really do a lot of the side quests, like, so far as, like, when you talk to an NPC and they're like, oh, I need 10 crickets or whatever. Like, I didn't do a lot of those side quests. I didn't do a lot of them in Breath of the Wild either. It seemed like every side quest was just, bring me 10 rocks, bring me 10 flowers. It's always just bring me 10 of something. And then the prizes were always really dull, so I didn't bother to do much of that. But, like, I did all of my, like, shrine hunting. I prioritized all of the shrines in Tears ahead of anything else. I actively tried to avoid anything that felt like story, or anything that would get me inside of a dungeon. I tried to run away from as much as possible so that I could do all the shrines first. I found all of the shrines in Tears of the Kingdom. I found all of the shrines without using the shrine radar. Except one, I had to use the radar to get into the shrine. I knew generally where it was, but I couldn't figure out how to actually step foot inside of it without the shrine radar. I got really close to finding all of them without it. The last one, the very last one, though, I needed a little bit of help. think they could abandon the open world and make the world tiered. Like complete 3 dungeons, be able to move on to the next continent. Just an idea. Yeah. Something like that might work. I don't know that I would like it better, though. I kind of like the idea that you can, I kind of like the idea of just being able to go anywhere out of the gate. Give the game more of a sense of progression and make the items more meaningful again. Claricinality, welcome in. The year is 2074. We catch Twitch and Agent Frownie is playing Jump King. Maybe. If it takes me that long, I'm never gonna give up. I'll play it until 2074 if that's what it takes. Thank you for the stretch. We can go ahead and do that here. I'm gonna have a bite of watermelon first. There's so many shrines. How do you know your completion rate on them? Well, I didn't. I didn't, EpiPen. Eventually, the game did let me know. Something did eventually happen to indicate that I had finished all the shrines, but I didn't while I was playing it. Like, there were several times where I thought, all right, I think this is going to be the last shrine, and then I would finish it. And I'd be like, well, that was uneventful. And then I'd find another shrine and be like, oh, well, that wasn't the last one, I guess. There were a lot of times where I thought that I had probably reached the last shrine. Shrines serve more as an idea or a tutorial than a challenge for the most part, Game and Fit says. Some of them. Well, a lot of them, definitely. There are a few that are pretty hard. I'm just trying to catch up. Just trying to catch up. We figured the Let's Play Genie cursed you with the gift of immortality in exchange for weekly Jump King streams until Earth's end. It feels like that sometimes. And yeah, some of the shrines are really tough to find. $21.12 Frownie Jr. is taking his father's legacy over on finishing Jump King. I hope not. I would really, as much as I love Jump King, I would hate for it to become a generational curse for my family. Alright, let's stretch for a moment. He trained his whole life for Jump King. The Frownie the 16th would go down in history as the one who finally found the second hot babe. Not to step on the toes of your joke, Claire, but I've actually found Babe 1 and 2. I'm searching for Babe 3. I'm on the second DLC currently. We've hit credits twice. I actually reached credits 3 times because I did one of the paths twice. The third one, you know what I meant. Well, I can't take the I can't skip over an opportunity to brag. Schutzwolf, thank you for the raid. Welcome in. We're just taking a moment to stretch. It's like Elden Ring tonight. I hope that was treating you well. Let's get my big head out of the way. At least Elden Ring is honest. It has ER right in the name. Oh. So first playthrough of this game, I did like 70% of the main story, and the New Babe Plus DLC. I got sidetracked. I got sidetracked onto the DLC path on my first playthrough, and so I completed that before I completed the main game. Second playthrough, I went back and did 100% of the main game. Third playthrough, I went looking for DLC 2, couldn't find it, decided to just finish the first DLC a second time. And then, fourth playthrough, we're on to DLC 2. The first time to reach credits was 92.5 hours. The second time to reach credits was 4.5 hours. The third time to reach credits was 2.5 hours. The fourth time to reach credits? Well, I'm at almost 73. It's kind of lame that you have to replay parts to access the DLC content. Well, you actually don't, Jeff. So, DLC 1 is stitched onto the main game to where you can get onto the DLC path on your first playthrough just from picking new game at the very start. If you find it. It's hidden, but it's not if you're looking for secrets, it's not hard to find. If you're already on the lookout for secrets, I think it's pretty easy to find. But it is a little ways into the game, so you can't get it right from the start. But once you beat the game, you have the choice from the title menu to start the DLC quest from within the DLC. And you have to give up the crown that you win for beating the game if you want to do that. When you beat the game, you get a crown, and if you choose to start the DLC from within the DLC, you have to give up your crown that you won. Or you can go and find it on your own if you want, and that's what I did. That's not exactly what I did. For DLC 1. DLC 2 is a different story, though. DLC 2 is not accessible from the base game map. You have to choose it from the menu. That's why I ended up beating the game a third time before I started the second DLC, is because I didn't know you had to choose DLC 2 from the menu. I thought I could just wander the map and find it. And I tried that. I looked around, I didn't see it anywhere. And I got suspicious that it had to be accessed from the menu, and so I finished the game again because I was worried about what abandoning a playthrough would do to my progress. I thought it was safer to try and reach credits than to try and start a new game. And actually, when you start DLC 2 from the when you choose it from the menu, you actually do start at the same starting point as the main game, but a new door is accessible to you right near the beginning. But you do start in the same location, and I think you have access. Access to the map before you go through that door. I'm not sure. But one of the things about the game is your items carry over from one playthrough to another. Now, I don't know if that's true if you abandon a playthrough. Like, if I chose give up down here, I don't know if my items would disappear or not. That's why I thought it was safer to finish the game than to try and start a new playthrough, as I was worried about what giving up would do. And I still don't know, because I don't want to risk losing things. But your items do carry over across playthroughs, and there are items that are useful to you in this DLC map that you can only get, so far as I'm aware, from the other maps. In particular, the snake ring is very useful to me. That's really the only one. That's really crown, magic crown, scholar's hat. Yeah, everything else is useless. The snake ring's the only good thing. Sounds overly complicated. It's really not that complicated. It's difficult to explain, but firsthand, it's easy to understand if you play it yourself. It's just difficult to put into words. There's a lot of, like, it's weird because there's a lot of items in the game, but they're all useless. they're basically all useless. There's only one with any practical value. Everything else is either just cosmetic or a troll item. And in fact, even the one useful one, I thought when I first received it, I thought it was a troll item. For several hours, I thought it was just a joke at my expense, because it was very difficult to get, and its effect is super not obvious. They're basically trophies, bragging rights. Yeah, they're kind of, yeah, they're kind of that, if anything. What does the item do? I wasted my time. How about you? What is the message that pops up in Castlevania 2 when it's nighttime? What a terrible night to have a curse. What a horrible night to have a curse. I think it's what a horrible night to have a curse. I'm currently wearing my Castlevania 2 shirt that has that phrase on it, Jeff says. Amazing. Despite the faults Castlevania 2 may have, that soundtrack is awesome. I don't think Castlevania 2 is worthless, but it's definitely disappointing in a lot of ways. It was a revolutionary game, just a tad ahead of its time. People complain it's too easy. When I play, I'm barely scraping through the first dungeon. I didn't know too easy was one of its faults. I'm not very good at side-scrollers, though. Mario's the only exception. Hey, Vanilla, welcome in. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Jump King. Compared to other Castlevanias, the difficulty comes from knowing where to go. Fair enough. Oh yeah, Jump King. This is a big game for me. I've been working on this one for a long time. Character looks like your pepper icon. Pepper King. So I don't know if you're not familiar with this game. This is like a troll game. It's a rage game. People compare it all the time to Getting Over It, because it's very brutal with the way it will punish you by eating away your progress for one tiny misstep, as you will see very soon. It's a super simple game in its concept. The only thing to do is jump. You jump in fixed jump arcs, and you just have to adjust the power of your jump by holding the button for different amounts of time, and you just kind of get a feel for it and hope for the best. You sort of have to just memorize through trial and error what every jump feels like. And it's super brutal with the way it will eliminate your progress when you fail. Oh, like right here. Watch this. Sometimes it's a long way down. But I love this game. I love it. There were times when I hated it. It's kind of a, yeah, yep, now I climb up again. That watch this was much too gleeful, Cal says. The graphics are really nice, Pink Scully says. So I love the aesthetic. I love the look of the game. I love the atmosphere. It's when it has music, the music is good. There's a lot of quiet times. I like that it's a very lonely game. It has the same kind of atmosphere as like Castlevania 64 or like a lot of Dark Souls, where it's just the world's very empty and it's very like unfriendly to you. So like there's a lot of quiet time, and I really like games like that. So that appeals to me. I love the simplicity of the idea of it. Just it is only jump, and I love that it's brutal the way it punishes your mistakes, and that like it's really an accomplishment to gain ground and to reach the end. is something you have to work real hard for. But sometimes you can get stuck in an area for so long. It is very easy. It is very easy to be overwhelmed with despair. And there were times with this game where I was in such dark pits of despair that it just seemed impossible I would ever claw my way out. There were times where I would play this some nights for hours, and the only thing I would have to say about it is how badly I wanted to quit. Just on loop for hours. It was the only thought that would run through my mind was how much I wanted to quit playing the game. But eventually I started to beat it. Because there are multiple paths through the game. There's 3 different paths. And I've at this point, I've completed 2 of them. And this is the final one to do. And so when I hit credits for the first time, that changed everything about the game for me. Reaching the credits for the first time recontextualized all my suffering, and now I just have nothing but love for the game. Hey, Derek Ocean, welcome in. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the lurk Tuesday. Only up 64? It's an awful time. I might could do that. I haven't messed around with any, I haven't messed around with many ROM hacks or homebrews on the stream. We played a couple on Halloween last year. We did a couple homebrew games that were pretty alright. I have some flash carts now, so any sort of hack or homebrew game that will work on real hardware is actually available to us. So, I mean, I don't know that I'm going to commit to that one in particular. I don't need multiple Rage games on the schedule simultaneously, but it could be a possibility. Video game high school? Has just the right amount of cheese and silliness, but I found the show enjoyable. I am not familiar with it. Cows apparently loves it. Very campy but fun. Unfriendly world just like real life. Oh no. Thank you for the good luck, Vanilla. I don't think I can handle rage-type games. I crave progression and completion. Pure Ponage? I don't know that one either, Jeff. Oh. Had to cut up my boiled pork and add to my ramen. I could still hear you hover. No worries, Vanilla. No worries. Sounds like you're making some good food. Jelly and I got Chinese takeout for dinner tonight from a place we'd never tried before. And it was alright. I don't know that I would be in a hurry to try that place again. No, alright isn't I'm being polite. No, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. We got I got sesame chicken and sesame beef with broccoli, and it was super light. It was crazy light on the broccoli. So I was a little disappointed by that, because I'm a monster that actually likes broccoli. And my beef had a big sharp shard of bone in it that I found while chewing it, and so that kind of dampened the experience for me. So if it weren't for that, I probably would be a little more enthusiastic about it. I'm not scared of any vegetable. Broccoli, that's lunch. Brussels sprouts, bring them on. I like Brussels sprouts too. I'm not bold enough to say I'm not afraid of any vegetable. I'm definitely afraid of many vegetables. I haven't found a way to enjoy like the squash family yet. Like squash and zucchini and cucumbers are all kind of unpleasant to me. But broccoli I actively love, and Brussels sprouts are pretty great too. I can eat Brussels sprouts just fine. Zucchini is good in bolognese. Tuesday says. Squash is best when made into a soup, in my opinion, Cal says. And you know what? I have a recipe for a squash and mushroom soup that looks really good, and I just haven't worked up the courage to try and make it. Hey, Direwolf, welcome in. I've had it for a couple years now. I had this recipe for the squash and mushroom soup. I just can't pull the trigger on it. I love okra, both breaded and unbreaded, Vanilla says. I don't know if I've tried okra. I don't think I have. If I had, it probably would have been deep fried. But I don't think I've actually tried it. I asked my dad, since I never had them, what did Brussels sprouts taste like, and his answer was vomit. Brussels sprouts are very similar to broccoli, I feel like. Butternut squash soup is a fall staple in my family, Cow says. Thank you for the lurk, Direwolf. Hope you have a fantastic time. Hanging around in the shadows. Bread and fried would be a good starter way to eat them. Because they shouldn't be slimy then. Oh, okra is slimy? Ooh. Yeah, I see. Breaded and fried might be the way to start. Brussels sprouts have a strong smell, I can admit that. Pretty much overpowers anything else in the room. They're like miniature cabbages. So I like to bake my Brussels sprouts. Just roll them around in some oil with some salt and some cayenne pepper. And yeah, just let them bake for a while until they're soft, and then they're good to go. Wait, are squashes pumpkins? I think they're related. Same family, Cow says. Squashes are just squashed pumpkins, Game and Fit says. A pumpkin is to a squash as an apple is to a pear. I don't think that's true at all, but the shape kind of works, almost. I'm now frightened of what proper squashes taste like. They look like a lemon-like fruit, but if they're actually a pumpkin, that must be a horrible tasting pumpkin. I think generally speaking, doesn't pumpkin require a lot of help? Typically too, though. Like you don't just peel and eat a pumpkin, right? It needs a bit of processing and added ingredients to make it work, doesn't it? Unless you're a dog. Arthur eats plain pumpkin all the time. I thought they were what you use to make the drink called squash. Squashes Tuesday says. Yeah, I don't know about this squash drink. Must be an Australian thing. Never heard of it, Cal says. Uh, Shirley Temples? How are you going to fit her in such a small glass? I'd become Seinfeld. I remember when I was in school around Halloween time, um, they would let us carve. They would have us carve gourds into jack-o'-lanterns. But I never considered whether or not a gourd is edible. Does anyone eat gourds? Or do they exist purely for decoration? I think that it's about time to, I think that's about time to call it a night with Jump King. I think I'm about ready to switch over to the Genesis, and we'll see about continuing our playthrough of Warlock. We made good strides at Jump King tonight. We didn't reach a new PB, but we got back to the checkpoint. So I'm pretty happy with what we've done. No, we're not ending the stream. I'm just gonna switch games. I don't often play Jump King for more than 2 hours at a time, and we just hit the 2 hour mark. So I'm just going to take a brief BRB, and then we'll keep going. So thank you for enjoying Jump King with me. We'll probably play some more of it early next week. Sunday or Monday or Tuesday. I'm not sure which day. But early next week. Next week's going to be weird, by the way. Just another reminder. I'm going to miss a lot of streams next week, especially in the later half of the week. Like probably Wednesday through Friday. I probably won't be here. Jelly and I have a lot going on, so I'm only gonna be here for the first couple nights next week. But then week after that, we should be back to normal. So if you don't see me for a little while, have no fears. I will be returning. Jump King battery depleted. Best of luck with all your things. Thank you, cows. Yeah, we've got a doctor's appointments and baby preparations to make. So it's gonna eat up. It's gonna eat up a lot of our time and energy, and kind of forced me to be awake when the sun is up for a little while. Thank you, Tuesday. But let's play some more Warlock. I'll be back with you in just a couple minutes, my friends. Oh, thank you for the congrats. Thank you for the congrats, Vanilla. Yeah, Warlock Night 2. See you in just a few minutes.